Welcome to this crime special with me, Jonathan. Today's story of Wanted is very sad indeed. Every murder or suicide is sad, but the fact that two children who are barely enough to talk had to witness their mother being murdered, well, that says a lot about their childhood. To make matters worse, they also witnessed a man committing suicide by hanging. Take a look. Childhood is supposed to be the most memorable time for anyone. But for these two children, their childhood will forever be a nightmare. This is 4-year-old Rahul and this is his sister 2-year-old Spandana. Why is their childhood so messed up? Well, hear it from this boy's mouth himself. Yes, this boy witnessed his mother's murder and then a suicide. So what were the events that led to this tragedy? This is Sumangala. Sumangala is from Mudol Taluk in Bagalkot. Sumangala got married to a man named Krishnappa Gowda from the same district. The couple lived happily for most part of their marriage. Sumangala gave birth to Rahul and Spandana too. Krishnappa Gowda and Sumangala then started having several issues with their marriage. The couple kept fighting constantly. We know this because 4-year-old Rahul revealed this to our correspondents when they spoke to him. Krishnappa was very upset with his wife. His family had disowned her, and soon Krishnappa disowned her too. On one day, when Rahul woke up, he noticed that his mother was crying. When he asked her what had happened, Sumangala had told him that his father had abandoned them. Yes, all this happened less than 4 months back. Krishnappa had given up on his marriage and walked out on his family. He just packed up his bags and left. He did not tell anyone where he was going. Sumangala was alone. She did not have a job. She had to support 2 children. But Sumangala wasn't ready to give up on her marriage. She insisted that she was going to fight for her family. She wanted to look for her husband, so she called all her relatives and tried to find out where he was. No one was willing to help her. So she too packed up her bags and started looking for Krishnappa. She had started out on a journey that would take her to every nook and corner of the state. She not only had the challenge of finding a husband, but she had to fund her mission and carry these 2 children with her. As you would expect, this was no easy task. She had no idea if he was still in the state or if he had left. But she had a hunch that he would not have left the state. So she decided to go around Karnataka looking for the man. And that is when she received a call from a long-lost friend. This man on your screen is Pavan. Pavan is from Mudol Taluk too. Pavan and Sumangala had been friends for a very long time. But after her husband had started fighting with her, she had severed contact with him. She did not want her husband to think she was having an affair when they were already fighting. But when Pavan had heard that Sumangala's husband had left her, he decided to give her a call and see how she was doing. He was shocked to hear that she had set out on a journey to look for him. He knew she had no money. He felt bad that she was looking for him all alone when she had 2 children to take care of. He offered to help her. Sumangala needed all the help she could get. After all, she had no money and taking care of 2 children wasn't easy. Besides, Pavan had good contacts across the state, so he may be a helpful resource, she thought. They started traveling across the northern parts of the state. On the 7th of September, the 2 of them checked into a lodge in Chitradurga. as it was common for them to do. They told the lodge manager that they were a couple, so they would not be asked difficult questions. The manager thought they were together and gave them the room. The two adults and the two children got into the room and slept that night. But around midnight, the manager heard some screams. He came to the door to see what was happening. He tried knocking on the door several times, but there was no one to answer them. He then called the other workers, and they got the keys to the room. But even before they could open the door, Pavan had reportedly killed Sumangal. Yes, he had reportedly choked Sumangal with a whale. He had then tied a noose to the ceiling fan and hanged himself. The two children were witness to all the horror that took place in the room that night. The lodge owners alerted the cops about what had happened. The cops too were shocked to learn what had happened and rushed to the spot immediately. They identified the deceased based on the information they had given the lodge owners. They called Sumangal's in-laws first, but they did not seem to care. They told the cops that they had nothing to do with the family after their son had abandoned them. The cops were shocked. They did not know what to do with the children. These children are barely old enough to talk. Rahul still stammers, but the cops knew that he could be vital in cracking this case and finding out what happened. They brought in a child specialist and tried to get some information from him. That is when they got to know that their mother had come in search of their father. They found out that Pavan was a friend and had offered to help their mother. The cops had to be really careful about how they approached the child. But the child spoke to them himself. He told the cops that Pavan had killed their mother and then committed suicide. The children were asleep when Pavan tried to kill Sumangal. But after she tried to scream, Rahul had woken up. He started crying when he saw what happened. He was too shocked to try and stop him. He screamed, but Pavan threatened him. After he had choked Sumangal and killed her, he tied a noose to the ceiling fan and committed suicide. Now, if you have ever seen someone committing suicide, you know how scary it can be. But this child and his sister witnessed it. They cried, they tried to wake their mother up, not knowing that she was dead. The scenes in the room were truly horrific. The children were crying inconsolably. By then, the lodge manager had opened the door. He observed that the woman had been killed. He noticed that Pavan was out of breath and had just died. They were too shocked to do anything. They got the two children out of the room and called the cops immediately. The cops rushed to the crime scene. They were shocked to see that Sumangal's body was lying like this on the bed. We have blurred the visuals here, but from what we could see, she was bleeding from her nose and mouth. There were marks on her neck that indicated that what Rahul had seen was in fact real. The cops did not have any idea as to what had happened.
ನಿನ್ನೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ಬಸಾರ್ನಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಬೃಂದಾವನ್ ಲಾಡ್ಜ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರ್ ಬಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಚಿತ್ರದುರ್ಗ ಟೌನ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ದೂರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರು. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 7ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಪವನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸುಮಂಗಲ ಎಂಬವರು ಬಾಗಲಕೋಟೆ ಮುಧೋಲ್ ತಾಲೂಕಿನವರು. ಅವರು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಡ್ಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ರೂಮ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರ ಜೊತೆ ಸುಮಂಗಲಾದ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅವರ ಜೊತೆ ಬಂದರು. 4 ವರ್ಷದ ಮಗ ಒಬ್ಬ ಮತ್ತು 2 ವರ್ಷದ ಮಗಳು ಒಬ್ಬಳು. ಸೊ 4 ಜನರು ರೂಮ್ ಹಾಕಿಸಿ 7ನೇ ತಾರೀಕು ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನದಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಸ ಇದ್ದರು. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ಬರದೇ ಇರುವುದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಗನು ಅಳುತ್ತಾ ಇರುವುದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜರು ಒಳಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನೋಡಲಾಗಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ತಾಯಿ ಕುತ್ತಿಗೆಗೆ ಒಂದು ವೇಲಿತ್ತು, ಶಾಲಿತ್ತು. ಶಾಲ್ನಲ್ಲಿನೇ ಅದು ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಕಂಡು ಬಂತು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಪವನು ನೇಣಾಕೊಂಡು ಸತ್ತಿರುವುದು ಕಂಡು ಬಂತು. ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಟೌನ್ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ದೂರು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರು.
The cops were shocked. They had to call child services to ensure the children wouldn't go into shock after what they had witnessed. The child services workers reached the spot, but the cops had another tough job on hand. It was to find out what was the reason for the murder and the suicide. Luckily for them, Rahul was willing to speak. And so with the help of the child psychologist, The cops found out what happened. The child narrated the whole story to them. This is what the cops told us about the case.
ಸುಮಂಗಲಾದು ಗಂಡ ಒಂದು 3 ತಿಂಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ಮಿಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದರು ಬಾಗಲಕೋಟೆನಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಸಂಬಂಧವಾಗಿ ಸೆಪ್ರೇಟ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕೇಸ್ ದಾಖಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಪವನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಸುಮಂಗಲ ಅವರು ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಶಿಪ್ ಇದ್ದು ಅವರು ತಂದೆಯನ್ನು ಹುಡುಕಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದರು ಎಂದು ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರು. ಸೊ ಅದೇ ವಿಚಾರವನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಮುಂದೆ ತನಿಖೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯೇ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ.
With neither Sumangala's family or her in-laws interested in knowing what happened or the security of the children, the cops have no option but to leave the children with child services. It is sad indeed that Pavan offered to help the family and has landed them in more trouble now. These 2 children will now have to live knowing that their father abandoned them and that their mother was killed right in front of them. They may be too young to even comprehend what has happened to them. Let us hope the child services will give them enough attention knowing what they have just gone through. Basavaraj Mudanur for NEWS9 Chitradurga. While this is a sad story that rocked Chitradurga, we have another truly shocking story on the other side of a short break. You heard that right. Today's Wanted is a double whammy, so stay tuned.